our first speaker here, Leanne is a law and business student at the University of Auckland. She is the president of Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, and the deputy chair of PSNA, the Palestine Solidarity Network of Europe. With all, Leanne is the member of the Welcome.
Kia ora, assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Billy, for the introduction. Now, a few months ago in May, I had the privilege of attending the first global anti-apartheid conference in South Africa. And there were a lot of good talks, obviously. But one thing that the South Africans really spoke about, and obviously from their own experience of apartheid, were the pillars that need to be implemented and focused on for the liberation of Palestine. And today I'm going to tell you guys all about this. The first pillar was mass mobilization. Our collective strength lies in our numbers. So we need to continue to gather, to protest, to make our voices loud and clear. This is not just a fight for Palestinians, but it's a fight for humanity, for justice, and for the dignity of all humanity, and every single person embraced. Our mass mobilization sends a powerful message that we are united, that we're strong, and that we will not be silenced. The second pillar is resistance, and that comes in any form, whether armed or unarmed. It's important to remember the international right of resistance. It's a right that cannot be taken away. And it's up to the people in Palestine to choose how they decide how they want to resist. Our role as allies and supporters is to stand by them, to support their choices and to amplify their voices. We need to respect their agency and their right to decide what is the best way for them to fight for their freedom. Because only they know the extent of what is really happening in Palestine. The third pillar is underground organization. And this movement needs to be strategic, it needs to be well organized and resilient. Underground organization allows us to build a robust foundation that can withstand oppression and continue to drive the movement. We need to work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that our efforts are actually coordinated, they're actually effective, and they are far-reaching. The fourth and final pillar is international solidarity. And this is where every single one of us plays a crucial role. Support from the international community is a must. Without it, our efforts cannot reach their full potential. Raising awareness as well is not just important, but it is important. There are still way too many people who are out of touch and not invested in this struggle. But really, it is our duty to educate and to inform these people and to bring them onto the fold. Solidarity grows through awareness, and with it, our strength and reach can multiply. So the four pillars again are mass mobilization, resistance, underground organization, and international solidarity. I also want to stress the importance of raising awareness. And until my trip to that conference, I had believed that it was time we escalate our tactics and that raising awareness bit was done. But realistically, I realized that awareness is still very, very crucial. We need to continue to keep putting our message out there and to be informative and educational. Because this struggle is not just about resistance, it's about building a global movement of support and solidarity. There's another critical point that we need to address, and I've said it before and I'll keep saying it again. And while we are aiming for a ceasefire, we must emphasize that our ultimate goal is liberation. A ceasefire, while it's necessary in the immediate term, it is not a restorative method, and it's definitely not the aim. We need to aim for complete restoration and reparation of Palestine. This is not about returning to the status quo before October 2nd. It's about ending the cycle of oppression once and for all. We need to demand true justice, an end to occupation, an end to apartheid, and an end to the daily injustices faced by Palestinians. Our vision here is very clear. It's liberation, restoration, and reparation. We will not be satisfied with anything. So I call on each and every one of you to continue this fight Stand with us, raise your voices, spread the word, and never lose hope. And keep attending these rallies, because it's only together that we will achieve the justice and freedom that Palestinians deserve.
Thank you very much again for that. Our next speaker is Amlani Case. Amlani Case is a senior lecturer in Pacific Studies at the University of Auckland. She's a Kanaka, Maori, Hawaiian activist, teacher, and writer. He is deeply engaged in issues of indigenous rights and representation, settler colonialism and decolonization, militarism and demilitarization, and environmental and social justice. Please welcome.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. As was mentioned, my name is Amlani Case. I'd like to acknowledge the video that we're standing on.
شو هسه جايين ولا كيف رحلتك هذا؟
الحمد لله والله الحمد لله والله بسلامة.
Colonialism is working and operating right here where we stand. So we say for Palestine and we say toy
واحدة بتسلم الثانية.
we stand for the rights of Allah.
إن شاء الله. رحت أسبوعين. مش مطولة.
I have 3 lessons and 3 points of insights that I'd like to share.
رايحة مش أنت فاضية بدها تروح تجيب أشياء.
هيك الدنيا أول ما صار وصلت
عن جد.
And those 3 points
لما
are
تفتحوا بيت بتشوفوا
خلينا حبة حبة
هو يشوف.
تجوز وبعدين لسه عندك مهر وعندك جيز لسه بعدين.
Before I get into those 3 points, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's happening in my homeland Hawaii right now and how this connects to our efforts and our stand for a free Palestine. Right now, the members of the New Zealand Defence Force are in Hawaii, participating in and contributing to RIMPAC. Now, if you don't know what RIMPAC is, I'm going to explain it to you. RIMPAC is the Rim of the Pacific International Maritime War exercises that happen in Hawaii every other year. They've been happening since 1971. And this year, 2024, 29 nations have come together to play war games on my whenua and in my moana in Hawaii. Among those participating nations are Australia, Canada, Mexico, Malaysia, Thailand, Tonga, the Netherlands, Germany, very importantly, the UK and the US and Israel. Yes. So all those nations are coming together and they're engaging in live fire training, missile training, they're sinking decommissioned ships in the middle of our moana, they're practicing how to invade, they're practicing war. And we should be very concerned that the New Zealand Defence Force right now is playing war games with the IDF. Shame. We should also be concerned right now that we have a defense minister, Judith Collins, who thinks it's absolutely necessary, shame on her, that we engage in these war games. She has also said that she thinks it's important because we have things to learn from other militaries. And I stand here to say there is absolutely nothing that I think we need to learn from the IDF. And there is nothing that we need to learn from the United States military. I come from a place that has been heavily militarized by the United States military. I come from a place whose lands and waters and peoples are routinely disregarded, disrespected, and desecrated every single year the United States military is there. So like many of you here, I know the pain of militarization and stand every single day for demilitarization. The other thing that we need to do while also calling out our government on their participation is we need to hold to account those nations that called for a ceasefire, like Chile, like Mexico, that are also participating in RIMPAC. And very importantly, that includes Indonesia. And I don't even have to say it, but Indonesia is committing its own slow motion genocide in West Papua. So standing against RIMPAC, yes, shame. Standing against RIMPAC means standing for demilitarization, which means calling for an end to using my homeland as a training ground for genocidal and imperial regimes around the world. Something that, I'm going to get to those 3 points. Now, what motivates me every single day, what keeps me standing, and what I hope will continue to bring people to these marches and these rallies every single week are those 3 things. The first is indigenous love. Imperial violence is absolutely no match for indigenous love. And I say that as a product of indigenous people who are trying to be, the United States tried to exterminate, who they still try to exterminate. And I say that as somebody who has experienced firsthand the love that we get from ancestors in the land. The second is collective strength. We have to keep coming. We have to keep showing up. We have to recognize that colonialism thrives on us thinking that we are separate. It thrives on us thinking that RIMPAC has nothing to do with Palestine. That RIMPAC has nothing to do with Altiano. That RIMPAC has nothing to do with colonization around the world. It has everything to do with it. It is the event that if we dismantle will lead to dismantling colonialism and militaristic structures. The other thing I forgot to mention earlier before I get to my 3rd point is that one of the selling points for RIMPAC 2024 is that they are going to reportedly have the largest scale humanitarian aid exercise that they've ever had. And I find it insulting and I find it disgusting that people think they need to come together and trade on how to deliver humanitarian aid and disaster relief, but they are creating a disaster. It's also reported that they're going to train us in how to respond to mass casualties and how to train in search and rescue. And again, it is insulting and absolutely disgusting to train in that when people in our fauna in Palestine are literally digging in the rubble to search and rescue their loved ones. So that brings me to my 3rd point, which is radical hope. I live every single day with a sense of radical hope. Radical hope means you have hope in the future, even though you may not live to see it. It means you live every single day for the future that you want to create, because the status quo is not an option. So I thank every single one of you for showing up with that sense of radical hope. And I hope that you continue to bring your friends and fun out here every single week.
صار دائم خير الناس في
Thank you very much, Milani, for these powerful, sincere, profound words. I'm going to echo the words of the Israeli historian Ilan Papi on hope.
ليش انت بتصير تفكر الدنيا وتفكر الناس؟ هاي النقطة الخلافية صارت. من بعد هذا المشاهير الواحد يقول
I'll get to that in a second.
راسه لما الاتجاه
Free, 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 from the river to the sea. Free, 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 free. Again, my name is Mili Hania. I will update you on the situation in Gaza. 17,000 children. Many talk of numbers, but surely one is too many. The loss of one child to the horror of another who has fallen so far that they believe they justify the killing of just one child. To what end? To what God? To justify what grievance? Nothing can justify the death of a child, and if your world allows it, then you are evil, and your real battle is not with our innocent, but with yourself. For the sake of our humanity and our family, you must overcome and overthrow your own demons. For the path that awaits evil is nothing but darkness. 17,000 innocent lives. The relentless murder of children carries on unabated. No politician that could change this path has the strength to act. What will it take? How many must be sacrificed to the criminal insane before it is too much? Do they see what we see? Do they feel what we feel? Do they think like us? Or have they given up on semblance of justice for the criminal path of death over service? Many talk service. There can be no greater service than to protect the innocent, and how can any child be anything other than innocent? 17,000 dreams. Before you start talking of anything else, deliver the greatest service to humanity and protect the innocent, or everything else you say is wrong and not worth the words you speak. Humanity above all else. 17,000 souls. It is not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts. The Palestine cause is not just for Palestinians, but for every human who believes in justice and decency. It's about humanity. We are all in this together now. We are all Palestinians. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to have a minute of silence, please, for the souls of all these innocent children and innocent people in Palestine that have lost their lives for this criminal, insane death campaign of Zionism. I'd like to remind you that, first of all, I'd like to thank our speakers today for participating, and thank you again. I know the weather is changing quickly. I'm just going to make a few announcements and we'll close with the Rakia. Tomorrow, there's a protest at 11:30 that's echoing the words of Imlani about the RIMPAC at Devonport at 11:30 a.m., highlighting the NZ involvement in RIMPAC military exercises with Israeli involvement and complicity with genocidal Israel. So we meet 11 a.m. ferry to Devonport, 11:15 arrival, and 11:30 walk to the naval base. Free Palestine. There will be next week another rally at the same time, same place, and the following week, on the 21st, we will have a rally and a march, and the 28th a rally and a march as well. So please calendar that, your agenda, and we'll see you again here next week. Thank you again. We'll close now with the Karakia. Free, free! Free, free! Can't hear you. Free, free! From the river to the sea. From the river Thank you, everyone. Drive safely. I'll see you next week, and free Palestine. Thank you.